Hello everyone, Dr. Brian Capra from Genesis Chiropractic Software. A frequently asked question I get are, what are the startup fees? Not just the startup fees, but what's the cost to start using the software? As compared to client-server systems, I'm going to compare Genesis and how many additional fees are hidden with client-server type systems. So a client-server type system, again, is a system where you have to buy a server, put that in your office, configure the database, load the software on it, then connect all of your computers, network all of your computers in the office to that server, load the software on those computers, and then you're able to use the software in your office. So that's a client-server system. Platinum, ChiroTouch, all those other systems are client-server systems. So what are the costs, hidden costs associated with that? So with client-server systems, you're going to see that it's actually a lot more cost than just the software license fee that they tell you up front. Number one, you do need a dedicated server. That's a few $1,000s right there at least, just to buy a server and put that in your office. Then you have to network all of the computers that are going to be using that software to that server. You're going to have to load the software on each one of those computers and the actual server itself. You need dedicated hardware that is required. So a lot of those other systems, you're going to have to buy each station. You have to buy the check-in kiosk. You have to buy the table kiosk. With Genesis, you can start with just a laptop or just a tablet PC or an iPad. A lot of the offices that start up with us are new practices. They can't afford all the hardware that goes into this and all the stations that are required. So they save a lot of money just by doing that. You need firewalls set up because you're storing your data in your office. It's a huge HIPAA risk. That data center or in your office, that server can be hacked very easily. So you need to put up additional firewall to comply with HIPAA. A lot of times that's not told to the offices. And then you need to configure the database, which is something kind of technical. But when you buy the server, it's not just that you load software on the server. There's actually a configuration process that needs to happen. In addition to all the networking, the firewalls, and connecting all the computers to that server, you have to actually configure the database. So all of this hardware and configuration is not something that software company does for you. That's somebody where you have to hire an additional resource in your community or from Best Buy or whoever to come in and do that work. So it's an additional fee on top of the license fee, on top of the hardware, and on top of the configuration. There's additional cost with that. So with Genesis, there's a lot lower cost to get started and use the system, a lot lower barrier to entry, a lot less time for you because you're literally, once you are a client, you literally are able to log in from any computer on your browser. So there's no software that has to be loaded on any computer ever. You can log in instantly from any computer with the same username and password and ID code. And that's all HIPAA compliant, 100% encrypted, up to HIPAA standards and up to the government standards. So you don't need a server because all your data is now going to be stored in the cloud, so you can access the system 24/7 from anywhere there's internet connection on any computer or device. There's no networking required. All you need to do is have your computers on the internet. There's no additional hardware. Like I said, a lot of the new offices start out with very little hardware. There's no firewalls needed. As soon as you log in, everything you do in the system is 100% encrypted, so you don't need additional firewalls, which means a lot less risk to your data being hacked, and of course there's a lot less HIPAA risk because of that. And then there's no database configuration. Again, you're just logging in and accessing the data 24/7. You're accessing the data in our servers, which are in the cloud. So in this case, the startup cost is much, much, much lower for Genesis.